they are solving a problem, right? So going back to the foundation of the product, when a sailor decides to go on a voyage, it has a lot of things on its toolbox. It has a compass, it has a map, it has a lot of things, right? But for me as a person, I feel the most important toolkit in that toolbox is a compass, right? The compass is how the sailor is able to navigate across the waters, is how he's able to navigate across all the tricky terrains, right? Is how he's able to navigate his ship to a clear landing. So I think that's what product design or product development is all about. How you are able to use user conceptualization. You are able to factor a user into to build a product actually. So I think that's what product development is all about. So for we in product, or me in product, there's a popular word we say. We are constantly reminding everyone that from the day you conceive the idea to build a product, go into the ideation, build out your product, you must realize that user benefit is at the center of everything you're doing. Without addressing real humans' problem or challenges, your product is just a product, right? It's designed to fail. And there's something I was telling some people yesterday. If you must build a problem that is solving problem, your product must be solving problem qualitatively and quantitatively, meaning the problem your product is solving can be measured, it can be valued, and it can be seen. Qualitative and quantitative solution. Those are key things that your product must be solving. Another thing is your product must be solving evolving problems. There were people that said, I'm a Peugeot mechanic of those days, right? There's not much of Peugeot in Nigeria today. What happened to those mechanics today, right? So if your product is not solving an evolving problem, it becomes a problem, right? So no matter how good your product is, if it's not evolving, if it's not an evolving product, it's not solving qualitative and quantitative challenges, I think your product is bound to fail. This is where most people actually get this whole thing wrong. So I think that's one. And another thing I want to say about this is the importance of understanding user need in product design, right? So I pick up my mobile phone today. Everything on this mobile phone has a user need inherent in it. So how do you understand user need in product design or building of product? One of the first things I keep telling people is, one, you must understand that user need allows design to create a product that aligns with the preferences. So if you know what your user needs, like there's something I'm building with some friends right now. It's a retail model, right? So what we are doing with that model is we are trying to build a model that we can give to a supermarket, something like a shop, right? A hub matters. Okay, use this thing for everything that has to do with your buying and selling, for inventory, everything. But why is different from the normal one you have in the market? Apart from having AI, apart from having artificial intelligence on the product, what it does is it's able to give you insights. So at the end of the day, you can just go and click on prediction. You predict something, a button, and it will tell you all the model you have on your shelf. It will predict what their sales, their revenue is going to be in a quarter, in a month, in a year, in 2 years' time. So it's able to give you a predictive analysis. So what am I trying to say? For you to build a product, the most important thing, you must understand user need. You must imbued what user need in your product. There's a model we built in Nigeria before I came to the UK. It's a logistics model, right? The normal model you have today in the market is a hub and spoke model. For those of you that understand logistics, it's a hub and spoke model. There's a one-to-many, there's a many-to-one model, right? So we build a model, we factor this, we factor this, we factor this, we factor this. But at the end of the day, though I came in late as the lead product owner, there were some issues they were having before I came in. They built a model, and there was a part of the model that has to do with the key users. that they didn't factor into it. When they went for beta testing, it was a challenge, right? So the first thing I would say is user need provide valuable insight into user behavior and preferences. If a user who is going to use your product, if you are able to have that insight on building the product, it helps you organize how you build your product. You're not building it because you and your family want to use the product, right? When Facebook was building, they didn't build it because Mark Zuckerberg and his guys are going to be the one to use it. No, they build it because it's going to be a global. So user need and preference needs to be well embedded while building your product. So you must design the user need and increase the product adoption. So product adoption is, you know, about product usage, uptake, right? What's the likelihood of people using the product? How are people going to uptake the product? How are they going to engage your product? Customer satisfaction, long term. There's a lot of boxes you need to tick, right? In terms of importance of understanding user need in your product. So another key thing I want to talk about is about how is your product relating to end users? How is it relating to end users? So first thing people don't understand is before you build the product, there must be so there's a culture I do as a person, right? Before we build a product, we must have a team that's into validation. We call it proof of concept. There must be proof of concept validation. We must validate the concept of the product. If you say you want a product like Airbnb, those of you that know Airbnb very well, right? I know some friends in the UK here, they say, Peter, let's build a prototype of an Airbnb, which is fine, but I need to ask a question. Security, payment, right? What are those things that says Airbnb today? Customer demography, their age, their color, behavioral characteristics, the usage pattern, right? Sorry, I'm speaking so much of terminologies, right? But the thing is, you need to have an organized user approach to speaking to customers. How do they want to interact with your product? Your design must relate to their need, right? I was speaking to, like last week, I was talking to someone and it was more a data science conversation. So they were like, Peter, if you want to build a retail model, what are those things that you need to think about? What kind of data that you need? I'm a data scientist, so sorry, I'm going to talk a bit of data. So what are those things that you need? Like it was a chart with some guys from Leeds. I said, well, I will need the data that is qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative and quantitative. I need to have the data that tells me about the customers' buying patterns. Who do they buy from? What competitors' model are they using today? What is their payment preferences? If they want to pay, are they the type that want to pay with tap and pay? Right? There's the NFC, right, which we don't have more in Nigeria. Most of the machines, you just tap, you just pay you, right? You don't have to start put. So what kind of payment preference do they want, right? What kind of feedback preference do some people, when they have challenges in store, how do they want to relate the challenges? Some don't like doing email. Someone, I just want to call the store and vent out my anger to the store. How is their feedback loop, right? So I need to understand this demography. I need to understand their buying pattern. How often do they come for shopping? If they come for shopping, what kind of product do they want to pick from the shelf of the store? So there are a lot of demography, buying behavior, buying patterns, their payment patterns, right? Competitors' patterns, their mortgage pattern. Are they on mortgage? Are they paying mortgage to the government? Are they on support, hardship support? There's a lot of data I said I would need. So this is how you build a product. If you build a product for people that are working class, they are the people that just earn salary, the government does not give them support, right? You might have an issue, right? The product you're building must be able to handshake those that are being under support by the government, those that are earning salaries, it must be a holistic product, right? So that's the conversation I was having. So how is your product relating to the end users, right? Your product must be empathy driven, right? You must understand what I call pain point. You can't build a product by not talking about customer pain point. Visualize the step and touch point user go through before they interact with your product. What are those things that customers will go through before handshaking your product? How easy is easy for them? Today, you've understand that most of the cool apps like Facebook and WhatsApp, yeah, I think by 2020, by middle of 2024, we realize that WhatsApp is going to come inbuilt in most of the devices you're going to be buying. in the UK right now, there are nearly all the phones you buy, there's WhatsApp already in it. Do you understand? Because there's a pattern, there's a usage pattern. People do not want to start downloading and downloading and downloading because of memory style. So what they did is, from manufacturing, they've already made allocation for those spaces. So if they tell you it's 20 gig internal memory, WhatsApp is already in there. Your favorite apps are already in there. I think that's where product is going. That is where product is going. Visualizing the steps customer go through, memory challenges, downloading challenges. I don't have a lot of challenges. So you must understand. So build your product from an empathy perspective, yeah, right? The when that has been done, empathy, when I say empathy, step into the user's shoe. Don't build it and there's a product I want to talk about, but maybe I'll talk about it much later. It's a Nigerian product which most of you are going to know. That product actually built on empathy, and today is not scaling because of some major reasons. So another thing I will talk about is iterative design process. When you say iterative design process, you must have a product that is running like this, right? A product that you must have iterations. You build, you unbuild, you build, you build, you unbuild. So people call it iteration. I call it MVP, right? A minimum viable product. So when you build an MVP, your MVP is that thing that you put through series of iteration. You go back to the market. Okay, I built this thing. Is it meeting the purpose for which I built it? You go back, you call customer. You have a beta testing, right? You talk about, okay, how many people are going to be using this product, right? How many people, if it's the customer, the stakeholder of the business, the whoever is going to be involved in the using of the product, right? You bring them together in a room. You do an iterative design process. So everybody's idea is fed into the process. So at the end of the day, it's not like you're building a product that you want to use, right? So that's that. There's something else I also want to talk about, is understanding your user. Like I said, you cannot build a product without knowing who your users are. You cannot decide to travel without knowing your destination. There's a popular adage in Nigeria that says that if you forget where you're coming from, it's going to be very difficult for you to go to where you're going, because your destination is a function of your process, right? So you need to understand your user. And one of the way you understand your user is you use methodologies like surveys, interviews. You can use what is it called? Observations, closed user groups. Know where your users are. If I ask Abraham, you have a model that you want to build right now. So how are you going to get those people to be a part of your journey, your user engagement journey? You need to know what they feel about the product. Like I told you, the model I'm building right now with some friends, we've engaged nearly everybody. The retired daddy and mommy, the UK here, who are in their houses, we've spoken to them, right? How? Some say, Peter, I like to buy from most of them. Peter, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I used to go to the mall. Right now, no, I don't want to go to the mall. I buy from my house. They knock my door and they deliver all my groceries. I've not been to the mall for 20 years. I don't know what the mall looks like anymore. Do they still have the mention? I was just laughing. Do they still have that? Do they still have that? I said, no, they don't have that anymore, right? So you must understand who your users are, and you must engage with them. Have that valid input before you build a product. If you build a product on empathy, or your own empathy, if you build it because you are in the north, you want to build a product for the north, it becomes a problem. If you're in the south, you want to build a product for the south, you are going to have a problem. Build a product is an all-encompassing product. So that's what I want to say. They must create user persona. About user persona, I've explained that a couple of minutes ago. I was talking about there's a word I use, the user's profile, their attributes, their buying patterns, their payment pattern. You must understand who are the people. Is it the Gen Z you want to build it for? Is it the Gen Z you must have the persona, their buying behavior. What motivates them to want to engage your product? What are their goals? What problem do they want to solve by clicking on it? After this call, I'm going to click on Google Map, right? I'm going to click on Google because I'm going to somewhere called Rush Day. I'm clicking on Google Map for one reason, because I need to get to somewhere. And that app is what's going to take me to that place. You must understand their motivation, their goals, what are those satisfaction they derive from engaging your product, right? So that's about understanding your user, because in the midst of the whole building process, the user is how you're going to make money. The user is how you're going to make money. The user is how you're going to raise your seed round for your investor. The user is how you're going to scale, right? A product without a user is not a product, right? So basically, that's about that. So again, the question: how do you identify your users? How do you identify them? Like I was trying to explain, you need to understand their hub. Where are they? Are you going to find your user on Twitter? Are they on Twitter? You want to engage them on Twitter? You want to engage them with survey, right? You want to do in-depth research to gather insight into your market audience, your target audience, right? You must exhaust everything on your toolbox, your survey, your interview, cold email, cold call. I used to lead a call center. I used to drive a call center for a business back in Nigeria. And what we were doing with that business was basically, I was the vice president, business development and customer success, right? What I was doing with them was we were trying to sell what is it called? We're trying to sell health insurance. Health insurance is different from what you know, right? So there's AXA Mansard, there's a Philip. So there are different kind of health insurance you can buy in Nigeria from different vendors. So what we were doing there was, when I was working in some companies in Nigeria, we used to have health insurance. And one of the health insurances for you and your family, whether you get sick, you don't get sick, the company pays the vendor, which could be like Answer Master, Philip, and there are a lot, there are more, right? There are a lot of health insurances vendors in Nigeria. So whether you sick or you don't get sick, your vendor, your company pays that premium to the vendor. So the product we built then was easy. We approach these vendors like we approach AXA Mansard, we approach Philip, there were like 4 vendors we approached, but the biggest was AXA Mansard. We told them there's a challenge today. Most companies don't want to buy your health insurance because you made it a force. Like, it's not pay as you use. It's not pay as you use. It's pay as you go. You just buy like a GoTV, GoTV or DSTV. Whether you use, you don't use, the premium just start running. When it's end of the month, pam, it does a recycle, it just goes away, right? So we told them, come on, there's a chunk of the market you guys are not getting. The chunk of the market is there's some companies that they don't want to give you that money because they know most of their guys don't fall sick. That those people, that guys come to the office, they know much hurdle, they just come, they're nice looking, they're not in the market. So if what they would do is they buy health insurance for those people who are in the field, because the guys at the field that the high risk guys. So they buy health insurance for those guys in the field. But those in the office, they don't want to buy for them because they feel that these guys are under a condition, they are doing well, and the likelihood of sickness is 1 to 100. Do you understand? So some companies are evading health insurance. So what we approach AXA Mansard was like, there's a proposition. You guys are losing a chunk of a slice of the market, right? You guys are losing a slice of the market. And one of those things you guys are losing from the market is one of those things you guys are losing from the market is we found out that people are not willing to buy your health insurance because of the premium that they don't use, the money just keep going. Then I said, what do you want? So I designed the product, and what I told them was, why let's not build a pay-as-you-use model? That's different. The pay-as-you-use, we can say for companies that have people like 1 to 20 or 1 to 10 companies, and what they do is they buy the premium. If they don't use it, it rolls into the next month. If you buy 50,000 insurance and only headache and malaria, if I have typhoid, it does not cover typhoid. Right? Do you understand? So we made it look so juicy. We approached AXA Mansard. They want to see that product is not conflicting with their product. They look at it, they called their expert, they had a meeting, they went back to VI. So we went back to VI, we had a lot of comment, and the conversation was, okay, Peter, if I approve this model, how are you going to sell it, right? So we said, leave the pitching. I had a guy from call center. We had a company in Lagos, an e-commerce company. I can't call their name because of GDPR and confidentiality. We got data of everybody. Even Abraham, I got your data. Everyone on this call, I think I got your data. I got everyone's data. So that's how it is. I'm sorry to say that, but we got a lot of data. We started calling people. Tell them, see, you can buy health insurance, whether you're working in a company or you're not working in a company. If you're a mom who's sitting in your house, all you do is just breastfeed, you take off the home, right? You can buy health insurance, and it's not pay as you go, it's pay as you use. Meaning, if you buy a premium, you don't use it, it stays there for you. Do you understand how novel that product is? So we did it, we're cold calling, looking for customers, interviews, survey, we're making core market analysis. At the end of the day, we met customers at their pain point. The business scaled. They scaled. We raised some seed round, made some money, and all that. So that's in the past now. So another thing you do in identifying your customer needs, you observe and listen. You must pay close attention to how customers interact with existing product. This today, the retail app I told them about building or something I'm doing. I was seeing how retailers engage. I was seeing how business owners interact. There were a lot of frustration in some areas. There were not enough analytics or insight into what they were doing, right? So we're trying to build an end-to-end retail app, right? That you can do inventory management, optimization, pricing. Apart from pricing, you can equally go ahead to draw insight and click a button, bam, and the button will ask you, what do you want to do? I want to predict the sales of corn flour in this shop. I want to predict the sales of a butter speed in this store. You click on it and it will predict with historical data, right? So you need to be able to identify how to know your customer. Another one is you can use analyze user data. That's another way. If I want to build something for a market in Lagos, I need to first understand Lagos demography, right? So, and you can use, that's where you use the quantitative and qualitative data I was speaking about earlier to get a deeper understanding of your user needs. The user metrics, such as their pattern, their buy pattern, their payment pattern, their conversion rate. If they enter the pipeline, how quick do they fall out of the pipeline? These are a lot of insight, what customers do, because there's something that's very interesting about product I need to tell you. As a product owner, what I love more about product is, apart from building a product, I love the back end. Oh gosh. I love the back end. I call it the chemistry of building. The back end can be very interesting. You know why it's interesting? You see when an Abraham logs into, you see how long Abraham was inside the app playing. Okay, is this where I need to log? You see how long someone is playing inside your product, right? Then after a while, the person falls off, right? The person journey on your app is just maybe like 10, 15 minutes or 5 seconds. See some people, they just log in 2 seconds, that's a dying rate, they just drop off. Some spend 1 hour, 2 hours, some spend 30 minutes. So when you see the demography at the back end, it's lovely, it's beautiful. You are able to understand how long they use the user journey inside your product, right? What are the things they looked for inside your product, right? So with this data, we can, 50 people came into the product. What they went for was a particular part of the product. You see that if you build 20 interfaces, 90% of people that came to your product are interface who maybe 20%. The remaining 80% is just that nobody's able clicking them. They are not clickable. But the remaining 20% is what people are clicking. It gives you a usage pattern, an engagement pattern, a holistic style. Oh, they're inside the product, and this is what they do. So it makes you design better iterations when it comes to your MVP and everything that you need to do. You need to forgive me. I know I'm speaking so much of terminologies and all that, but please forgive me, and you can just write out your questions much later, right? So I want to say something about designing with empathy. If I say designing with empathy, I mean design your product with a user perspective in your mind. Take the time to understand the perspective, experience, and emotions of your user. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Consider their background. Are they going to be civil servant? Are they going to be retirees? What are their unique needs? What are their challenges? There are some apps in the market that are big on data. If they don't see 3G, they will drag you on your phone. They will drag you, give you shege promas dragging because they don't see 3G. There's an app, mainly there's a network, whether the network is that because they are very light on data. So talking about the rural areas in Nigeria, right? You need to understand where everyone is before you build the bandwidth of your product, right? This is where I beg companies, please invest in technology. If you want to build product, my people, you must take the time to invest in technology. If you do not invest in technology, is a problem. But if interesting about building about technology is they already open AI out there. They already open AI out there. All you need to just do is just layer your service on top of an AI. With just a click, you get everything. There's a lot of AIs out there that you can layer your services on. Sandbox, API sandbox, right? That you can layer your service on. You don't need to build from scratch, but people, you need to invest in technology for you to build a robust product that is encompassing. So another thing you need to do in designing with empathy is you must conduct empathy research. Empathy research. Like I said, go to the customer's hub. You can't be building a product for Nigeria market and talking to users in Ghana. It doesn't make sense, right? You can't be building a product for a Nigerian market and people you interact who are the feedback? Who are people giving feedback? They are users from Ghana, your friends, those within your circle that are not even active, who are not going to be active users. Please design with empathy. Go to the user's hub. You can't be building a product in isolation, right? So, and also embrace inclusive design. Embrace inclusive design. So, this is where I said I was going to talk about. So, there's a product in Nigeria that I wasn't a part of the building, but I was a part of those that consulted for the product. So, when there was a Twitter ban in Nigeria, Do you all know that there's a product in Nigeria that functions like Twitter? It's from the north. For those of you that know, it's from the north. It's from the north, right? That product has the capacity to keep us all engaged. It was a very good product. It had the finest UVP I've seen. The unique value prop is a very fine product. But you know why? They build it and they make it look like a northern product, right? They made it look like a northern product. So when Buhari banned Twitter, so it was supposed to be our failover product, but because of the impact around the product, people didn't look at it and there was no much publicity. I was looking at the product yesterday. Didn't want they've turned it to a payment platform. They've turned it to a payment platform, which is supposed to be good, but as at yesterday or as at when they've only moved 59 million transactions in Nigeria, which is appalling. So don't build your product around bias or emotion. So have an embrace inclusive design. Don't build a product for the north. Don't build a product for the south. Build a product an all-inclusive product because you will make money from the north, you make money from the south, you make money for everybody. So build a product that is able to extract money from everywhere. So practice active listening. You must listen. You must listen. You must listen as a builder. If you want to build with them, you must listen. You must set and understand pain points. Pain point is very key. Pain point, desires, and suggestion. You must incorporate this feedback into what you're building, right? So these are some of those things that you need to do. You can't create products that meet better needs if they are not all inclusive, they are not solving business pain point, they are not meeting desire. You need to do this then. And another thing you need to do in terms of design with empathy is you do a lot of iteration. So prototype your designs, right? You must have a clickable prototype, or in some people they call it an MVP, a minimum viable product. You must have an MVP or a clickable prototype. Ensure all users who are going to be using the product. So let's something like Facebook, for example. Facebook is too far. Let's do something like a simple app like OPay that you all know today. There's a merchant dashboard. There's a customer dashboard. there's an admin dashboard, and there's something like a super admin dashboard. So there are going to be 4 key users in building that product. These are the user stakeholders, right? You must ensure that during the testing and iterations, this clickable prototype, you bring these 4 people into a room. You must have that unique insight on what do they expect. Me as a user of OP, what I expect is different from what the super admin want. The super admin guys is more around security, giving privileges and removing privileges, right? Why the admin guys? So everyone have a different expectations in terms of a product. So ensure during your testing and iterations, everyone are brought into a room to discuss how this product meet their needs, right? So if all the stakeholders of the product are not going to be well represented, there's going to be a problem, right? I did a beta testing, and the logistics app I told you, I built in Lagos, right? So most of you know it, but I'm not going to call it because of confidentiality. When we built the product, we needed this delivery guy, these bike riders, these delivery guys. We needed them. We couldn't get it. You know what I did? I called GoCada. I called GoCada in Lagos, like one of the big vendors. I need 5 bikes. They said, no, Peter, our guys are busy. I was like, okay, cool. They're busy. How much did they make in a day? The guy said, okay, my bike made average of 7,000, 8,000. No wahala. If they make like 10,000 in a day, give me 4. I'll pay 40K to have them in a room, because I need that input, that the guys who are going to pick the product, who are going to be delivering, so that the one driving the entire value chain end to end. So we brought them. I paid for their whole day. Come and sit with me in the office. I gave them my app. I downloaded their app on their phone, and we started practicing among ourselves. I told all of them, you are going to become a customer for today. You are going to be a rider. Go to social place and place an order. So iterations, bring everybody. Let's talk about the product. Does it meet my need? Does it solve my problems? This is very key. When that has been done, consider emotional experience. I know most of you, so understand how users want to feel when using your product. So people want to feel okay, nice when they're using your product. Like there's I love using audio mark, right? When I'm on the bus, I just pick up my headset and play with it. That's an emotional experience. It's making me feel okay, right? When I'm not using audio mark, there's a popular app I love using. So consider emotional experience. Design not only functionality, but also for emotional experience. Have it. People that can use your app to make their face filter, make their face look good. That was why TikTok sold. That was why some other apps sold, because one is an emotional experience for users. They want to look, someone has a lot of wrinkle, want to see to be white. So if there's an emotional aspect to your brand, ensure you make noise about it, because customers like that in a lot. Then when that's been done, seek collaboration and active perspective. Work collaborating with diverse teams. So work collaborating with diverse teams and stakeholders to bring the perspective and ideas together. So that's then the last thing I want to talk about before I close this conversation is about balancing user need and business goals. I build a product. How does the product handshake? How does my organization goes? Okay, let me give you another typical story. We build a product, right? It's a white label solution. We build a product, a white label solution, and there's a company that we white label. So more than we're using our APIs, we're using everything we have for them to work in a particular market. They came and said, please, we want to expand to another market. So what we build was for a particular market, but already talking to customers outside another market, right? They're not asking us how we're going to go about it. I told them the APIs and everything we have today now do not really support you taking your business to another market for now. So you see, they have a business goal. It's not aligning with their user, their end user. So you see, your business goal and your end user need to be a proper handshake, right? So that's why you need to get a validated understanding of the market landscape. You must understand user preferences very, very, very well. Their behavior, who are the competitors, identify target, or you must know these things, right? If you don't, you build a product that is not aligning with your business goal. And at the end of the day, there's going to be problem. You must define user-centric goals. And one of these user-centric goals is you putting yourself at the forefront. If you look at my biography, someone said, if you look at my biography, me, Peter, I'm always at the forefront of building. That's one thing about me. I'm always at the forefront of building. So you must put yourself out there, right? You must find a way that your product handshake businesses, because if you build a product that people in Ikeja want to use, but nobody in Naija wants to use that product, right? Because of legislation problem, blah, 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 it's breaking law. You must build a product that balance your user need and is in alignment with your business goal, right? Then when that's been done, another thing you need to do in terms of balancing user need and business goal, you need to use user testing and feedback. This is where user testing and feedback is very key, because when you gather user feedback through testing, iterations, usability study, when you do all this, you are able to get good insight that can help you shun out features, that aligns with what customer need and in direction of your business goal. Every business today wants to make money, right? So in as much as you're not making money today, but you must have a product that is taking you to where you want to make money, right? So be very focused on what you want to achieve. Then the last two things I will talk about, you must prioritize your feature. So prioritization is a very big thing when it comes to products, right? There's something called would have, could have, should have, and so you have a lot of prioritization skill. So this feature now for the user, is it a must have? Is it a could have? Is it a would have? Is it a should have? You need to have this prioritization all down. If you don't prioritize feature based on user need and their impact on achieving your business goal, you're going to have issues, right? So prioritize features that you know that can help you make. There's some called quick wins. Quick wins. Those features you can quickly just bring them out. And you're just making money. But we need that feature. Let's do this one first. Let's do this one first, right? So you prioritize features that can take you to market and slice market and take a chunk of the market share very, very quick, right? So this helps you allocate resources effectively and create a product that can resonate with users and drive business process very, very fast and business success. And also, I will keep saying that you must have an iterative approach to how you build your products, right? So you must embrace that agile. That's what I mean. I'm an agile practitioner. I believe in the agile framework, right? So I believe in iterations. The first time I gained admission when I was doing my MSc in data science. So we're having a conversation in school with the professor. So like 50 students around, we're talking, and there was a question. And I used the iterative approach. In fact, I'm using the word iteration. People were looking at me like,